Hello, and welcome to the book review, Chapter 1, Lady Colin Campbell's book, Meghan and Harry, The Real Story. And I'm just going to go through chapter by chapter to keep the videos a little bit shorter. So in the first thing that I highlighted in the book of Lady Colin Campbell, and you probably already know the first couple chapters are kind of flattering about Meghan and praise her and say all the good things, which I won't bother doing. So on the wedding day, the first blunder that she made was actually at the wedding service, that whenever she was leaving, Meghan rejoined the congregation and set about walking down the aisle and was beaming Prince Harry by her side. Meghan omitted or failed to curtsy when she passed the Queen. This caused consternation throughout the assembled company at St. George's Chapel, one of whom told me no one could believe it. She walked out, sailed down the aisle with not so much as the merest bob of the head in her direction of Her Majesty. The Queen is not on record as having made a comment or a complaint, but it is said that she will have noticed. Everyone did. And it said, Meghan's wonderfully self-possessed. She has a supreme belief. She knows what she wants and sets out by achieving it, by brooking no opposition. She is astonishingly direct in a way only Americans of a certain background who have made successes of their lives can be. She does not shy away from making demands, but expects those who are there to assist her to bring her desires to fruition. Don't forget disclaimers in the description. Harry adores her forthrightness and strength of character. Thank you to the healthcare workers. Forgot to mention this. If you yourself or you have a loved one who is a frontline worker or public servant, thank you so much. And leave a comment for me. Let me know how you're all doing. I really care if you're okay or not. All right. It says that in court circles, however, where people dance around issues and no one makes a demand, much less ask a direct question or even makes a straightforward suggestion, Meghan was unwittingly making waves. This was laying the ground for the misunderstandings and bad feelings that would soon characterize relations between the couple and many of the people close to them. With the wisdom of hindsight, it is obvious that Harry should have nipped things in the bud before they degenerated further by pointing out to Meghan that she needed to adopt a more British approach. He should have explained that what works in the film industry in Hollywood goes down like a lead balloon in Britain. People would not admire her for her ballsiness, but would begin to resent her for what he and she might admire as forthrightness, but they would deplore as being difficult, demanding, and brash. This more emotional side of the character now came to the forefront in the most unfortunate fashion. He started throwing his weight around, playing the alpha male, protecting his little woman as he backed Meghan up, even when he must have known that a more positive response would have been to have a quiet word with her instead of endlessly repeating the mantra, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. In doing so, he not only allowed her to continue getting people's backs up quite unnecessarily and more than likely unwittingly too. Okay, the next highlight was about the wedding day and her change of dress. It said the Queen, after all, could not conclude with her granddaughter's thunder being stolen by granddaughter-in-law, so she was put in an onerous position of having to make it clear by the way of her trusted dress designer, and good friend Angela Kelly to Meghan and Harry that they would have to accept what was offered and not demanded. What was not, and that was about the tiara. So, sorry, here's the part it goes on, I think, about the dress. And forgive me, I'm sorry, I know it's making noise turning the pages. So, it says the fact that she was good looking, stylish, glamorous, photogenic, mature woman with an interest in philanthropy was one thing, but what sealed things in her favor was her ancestry. Not only was she an American, a well educated one with a patina of sophistication, but she was also a woman of color. The Queen, who is well known to be a wit, said to her friend, Mr. Corbin, will find it much more difficult to get rid of us now that Meghan's in the family. I don't know who Mr. Corbin is, but he must be an anti-monarchist and want to do away with the royal family. Said this conveyed a welcome degree of truth as well as humor for Meghan's biracial identity, made the monarchy both reflective and representative of multicultural, multiracial Britain in a way that a white 37-year-old California-born actress who had been a cast member of a popular television series could never have been. Then it goes on to say the British press and general public, as well as the political establishment, also embraced Meghan's mixed-race heritage. There had been other mixed-race unions in the royal houses, and the general feeling was that it was high time that the British royal family caught up to their continental cousins. The Queen of Denmark's second son had married a Eurasian woman. The ruling Prince of Liechtenstein's second son had married a Panamanian-born American of color. Prince Rainier of Monaco's nephew had married a West Indian of color. Two of the Archduke Giza of Austria's sons had married three sub-Saharan Africans. The Queen had given her blessing to two of her first cousins once removed when the Honorable James Lascelles married the Nigerian aristocrat Joy Elias Rilwan in 1999. Now, it says Meghan Markle's inclusion in the British royal family itself would send out a positive message, which would not only play well in Britain, but also in the Commonwealth. It is fair to say that the racist minority aside, practically everyone welcomed the marriage, mostly on racial grounds, and not one at court wanted to be behind the scenes, have difficulties to leak out lest they color the public's opinion and acceptance of Meghan. Her father's non-attendance was a blip which was managed as well as it could have been, and the day went off without a hitch. The night of the wedding, that night the bride ratified her style credentials by wearing a classical white silk crepe halter neckline evening dress by Stella McCartney to the black tie reception at Frogmore House. Situated on the Crown Estate, Windsor and Windsor Great Park, it was a 5-minute drive from the castle. Harry drove Meghan there in the ice blue E-type Jaguar, which coordinated perfectly with a large emerald-cut aquamarine ring belonging to his mother Diana. This Meghan wore on her right hand. It was, according to people who attended, a great party with a wonderful atmosphere, and the couple seemed very much in love. Yet, 4 days after the wedding, Lady Colin Campbell says, I was having dinner at the house of an influential aristocrat with impeccable palace connections when I heard a report that filled me with foreboding. The day before, Meghan had joined Harry and Prince Charles and Camilla at a garden party at Buckingham Palace to celebrate the Prince of Wales' patronage and recognition of his 70th birthday. What had taken place then, which I will cover later on in the book, lost my place, was also shocking and led us all to conclude that Meghan was utterly unsuited to the role of a royal duchess, and that it would be a miracle if this marriage worked out. And what she goes on to say later in the book is that she was overheard talking to Harry to say, we've had our pictures, we've been here, can we leave now? This is boring. And Harry kept saying, no, we have to stay. Well, I guess it got back to Camilla and Charles, and they let them know that a car was waiting and kissed them goodbye and said they'd see him soon. So they took care of that. It was hardly surprising that they would lurch from one controversy to another in light of Meghan's unsuitability to royal life and Harry's blanket support for her. His failure to ever enlighten her as to where she was going wrong only ensured that she went from unintentional blunder to unintentional blunder. And my personal comment, I believe Harry tried to tell her. I believe he did tell her what was right and wrong, what was royal protocol. I just think Meghan wasn't going to hear it. Once they got married, she was going to wear the pants in that relationship, and she was going to do things the way she wanted to do them, and she wasn't about to listen to him anymore. So that's the end of chapter 1, and I'll go through this chapter by chapter so that I can keep them a little bit shorter for you. I appreciate your listening, and I'll also give you a book review of the Fun and Freedom book whenever it arrives. But we'll get through this first. So if you like these videos and want to see more, please like and share. And don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you soon. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching.